Welcome to my channel, University of Universe. In this video we discussing about SpaceX. But I'm still not entirely sure if I'm dreaming or not, but this just happened, and it feels surreal. Years of preparation all came down to this moment, culminating in an extraordinary spectacle, the fifth full-stack Starship flying freely once again. And yes, SpaceX not only launched the Starship but also caught the Super Heavy booster on their very first attempt. This is a monumental achievement, and there's so much to unpack about what just happened. We were left wondering if they would really manage to fly on Sunday. A mere few hours after that video went live, the FAA released a written reevaluation of the programmatic environmental assessment for the Starship vehicle. This document, an extensive 60-page report, which I won't delve into too deeply here, highlighted that the FAA granted SpaceX permission to repeat Flight 5 mission profile for up to 5 flights per year. So far, including this flight, there have been 3 flights this year. This opens the possibility that we could witness another Starship flight and booster catch attempt before year ends. But I'm probably getting ahead of myself there. The launch license was granted 19 hours before the window opened, which we had anticipated. While I won't go into all the specifics of license, there are a few key takeaways worth noting. Much like Flight 4, there are 3 main contingencies that would not trigger a mishap investigation. First, the failure of the Raptor engine system during a landing burn. This likely applies to both vehicles involved. Secondly, flap system failing to provide adequate control under high dynamic pressure. Lastly, the failure of the thermal shield during re-entry is a critical contingency. That last one is particularly intriguing because SpaceX invested significant effort in upgrading Ship 30's heat shield ahead of this flight. Meanwhile, SpaceX had positioned both SpaceX Crane and CC-8800 Crane at the far end of Pad West to safeguard them. The final pre-flight checkouts were in full swing, beginning with the ship testing its 4 flaps and the booster adjusting its grid fins. Shortly after that, Ship 30 completed its igniter tests, followed by the booster. The difference between the 2 tests is clear if you focus on the engine ignition patterns. Ship 30 only has 2 sets of engines igniting, the vacuum engines first, followed by the 3 sea-level engines. On the other hand, the booster has 3 sets of engines that ignite sequentially. The process begins with the 13 gimbaling engines in the center, followed by 15 of the outer fixed Raptors, and finally, the remaining 5 engines. With a favorable weather forecast and all signs pointing toward a successful launch, we entered launch day. Just past midnight, Highway 4 was closed, and the chopsticks mechanism began to open, moving into position for the catch. Though it was hard to see clearly, once they reached the catch position, the landing rails were also raised. A quick test of the detonation suppression system followed, and everything seemed ready. As I chatted with the NSF team on the live stream, thanks again for the hospitality, the tank farm began to wake up. There were some strange moments, like when cars were spotted unusually close to the pad. Then it got even more peculiar. A helicopter landed on Highway 4. It became clear that it was refueling, likely a replacement for the OV-10 Bronco that used to check the area in the past. After refueling, the helicopter continued on its way. With the tank farm now fully operational, the standard venting process began, increasing in intensity over time. At this point, I would have been surprised if the launch didn't proceed. However, it became evident that they weren't aiming for a precise 7 a.m. liftoff. A minor delay was caused by a few boats in the range, but soon enough, the sub-chillers activated, and the tower stopped venting. This was a clear sign that Ship 30 was being loaded with propellant. Just moments later, Booster 12 was also being fueled, as frost slowly climbed up the walls of all 4 tanks. With around 30 minutes remaining before launch, I joined the Lab Padre and Spaceflight Now teams to witness the final countdown. At this point, everything felt almost unreal. The sun was rising, casting a warm glow over the area. It was a calm, clear morning without any wind, a perfect setting for what was about to unfold. The suspense was building, and the question on everyone's mind was whether they would really try to catch a 70-meter-tall booster falling from the sky. Surely not, right? Well, we were about to find out. Dan Hewitt confirmed that everything, including the range, was green, and the launch was a go. Initially, we had anticipated a late November launch, but here we were on October 13th, witnessing history in the making. Starship took to the skies for the 5th time that day, and the ascent was flawless. The tracking and onboard footage were fantastic, and the Raptor engine's augmented audio added an extra layer of intensity to the moment. Seeing all 33 Raptors firing simultaneously was a breathtaking sight. The muck diamonds in the exhaust plume created an incredible visual effect as the rocket powered its way through the atmosphere. As the Starship ascended toward space, the sunlight illuminated the exhaust plume in a beautiful, awe-inspiring way. Soon enough, the outer rings of engines shut down in sequence, leaving only the center 3 engines to continue the journey. The hot stage separation came next, and as always, it was a magical sight. That particular shot never seems to lose its appeal. Ship 30 detached and continued on its way toward its eventual splashdown in the Indian Ocean. Meanwhile, we were treated to a stunning view as the booster flipped around for the boost-back burn. Against the backdrop of Earth, the center set of 10 engines ignited, followed by the remaining 13 gimbaling engines. The boost-back burn proceeded smoothly, with the engines shutting down on schedule. After a total burn time of 53 seconds, all engines were shut off, marking the moment of truth. This was the point we had all been waiting for. The flight director needed to give the go-ahead for the catch attempt. Buried under the sounds of cheering, that approval came through, and we witnessed something extraordinary. The booster began its descent back to Earth. As the hot stage ring was jettisoned, we could see gas bursts likely caused by carbon dioxide purging the engine bay, removing any unwanted methane or other contaminants. The descent grew even more intense as the booster shifted to a vertical trajectory. The grid fins adjusted in real time to control its fall, providing some truly spectacular visuals. This flight had it all: amazing footage, suspense, and a historic achievement. Watching the booster descend along its own ascent plume was absolutely stunning. Amid the cheering, we heard that the flight termination system had been deactivated, a clear sign that SpaceX had succeeded. In conclusion, SpaceX's 5th full-stack Starship flight on October 13th was an extraordinary achievement. The flawless ascent, the breathtaking visuals, and the successful catch attempt all came together to create a historic moment in space exploration. This mission demonstrated not only SpaceX's impressive technological advancements but also the possibilities for the future of space travel. This achievement will certainly go down as one of the most significant milestones in the journey toward making space more accessible for humanity.